Yo, yo, what's up? How you guys doing out there today? This is Stefan Jimenez from the Roto Beast team, and I'm here to present you my NBA picks for Tuesday, February 6th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure to click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all of our NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. And please make sure to click the like button on this video as it really helps us out. So we got a solid 8-game slate. There's some really good spots we're going to talk about. Before we jump into it, though, I'm just going to fucking pissed about tonight. Tonight, DFS NBA was pretty much a shit show. All the fucking guys that were super high owned busted for the most part. Nobody really hit too much value tonight. Then I got, I'm sitting good. I went with Mario for Orlando, and he ended up getting me, I think 8 times value. So I'm like, everything's gonna be great tonight. But I got Donovan Mitchell as well for Utah. He's a guy who plays, 35 minutes a game, averages, like 35 fantasy points. And he played 19 minutes tonight and got me 6 fantasy points. It absolutely crushed my lineup. And it's so frustrating. Like, dude decides to have the worst game of the entire season when I got him. Like, literally pretty much just like I said, just killed me by myself. It was a great matchup for him. Everybody else on the starting lineup for the Jazz, including Hood off the bench, they all had monster games. Everybody had great games. And then you got Donovan Mitchell, their best player, had the worst game of the season. Coach ends up benching him. Very, very frustrating night for me. But you know what? I mean, the matchup was there. The numbers were pointing to it. Everybody else did great in the matchup. They put up 130 plus points. I guess tonight just wasn't his night, but very frustrating. It's part of DFS. It is what it is. So let's just jump into OKC. We'll jump into these games real quick. We'll start with OKC at Golden State. This game has a 230 implied total. Golden State's favored by 10. Then we got Cleveland going into Orlando. This game has a 221 implied total. Cleveland's favored by 7. Then we got Houston going into Brooklyn to face the Nets. This game has a 217.5 implied total. Houston's favored by 10.5. You got Washington going into Philadelphia to face the Sixers. This game has a 213.5 implied total. Philadelphia's favored by 6. Then we got Memphis going into Atlanta to face the Hawks. This game has a 205.5 implied total. Atlanta's favored by 2. And then a couple other games we have that the lines aren't out yet. You got Milwaukee going in to New York to face the Knicks. You got Boston going into Toronto to face the Raptors. And then one of the better games on the night is going to be Phoenix going to LA to face the Lakers. It's going to be a very up-tempo game. So, yeah, those are kind of the games that we got going. Let's jump into these picks. Point guard, I like Westbrook. Great spot. Very up-tempo game against the Warriors. If they're going to have any type of chance, he's going to have to go off. I'm really, really feeling Westbrook in this spot. And the price is actually down a little bit. For him to hit value, we need about 58. He's averaging 54 on the season. Curry on the other side of the ball, 2,100 less. He usually rises up to competition. I think he's going to have a solid game against Westbrook. He has had a couple down games in a row, I understand. But this will be a great spot for him to kind of come out. It's going to be a close game. He should play all of his minutes. I'm liking Curry. You could look at Chris Paul. He's coming off a good game. It's a great matchup against Brooklyn. I just don't really like Chris Paul when you got Harden healthy. Kyrie, I'm not really looking at Kyrie, but if he's out, I definitely would look at Terry Rozier. The guy's just been hot since starting. He's playing massive minutes. He's doing a little bit of everything. He fills up the stat sheet. Got a triple double. 2 of his past 3 games, he got you at least 46 fantasy points. You need 35 for him to hit value. Bledsoe. Fair price, 7.3 price tag. He was hurt. Something happened. So he played a little bit of minutes one game. It was right here against Philadelphia. He got hurt very early. Only played 2 minutes. Sat out a game. Came back against the Knicks. Only played 20 minutes. But then, he went against Brooklyn. He had a very good game. 41 fantasy points. We know this guy has upside. For him to hit value, we need 36. He's averaging 32 on the season. I'm liking Bledsoe. I think it's a very fair price. We mentioned Rozier, Lowry going against Boston. I know it's not the best matchup, but his price is down. You need 35 for him to hit value. He's averaging 35 on the season. He had kind of a game against Memphis, but you know what? The team, all the backups, everybody went off, and there was a blowout early. He didn't have to play very much. Against Portland, he only played 25 minutes. He got 30 fantasy points still. I think this is a game where he's going to have to play, his regular allotments of minutes. He's going to play, 35 minutes, I would guess, in this matchup going against the Celtics. They're not a team that really gets blown out, even without Kyrie. So I'm liking Lowry. And then another guy I'll quickly mention is I like Andrew Harrison. Great matchup going against Atlanta. One of the top matchups to go with point guards against Atlanta. Schroeder, he's not a very good defender. Harrison, I mean, his minutes are starting to trend back up. He's playing, 30, 32 minutes a game for the most part, and he's been very consistent. I mean, in the past four, he got you 22 one time. Besides that, he got you a 30, 36, and a 28. And, these weren't even, this was a solid matchup. This was a matchup. Detroit wasn't the best matchup, and then Toronto. So he's playing very well. For him to hit value, we need 26. He's somebody I definitely think that you could look at. Harden is on the slate. Price is down. You need 56 for him to hit value. He's coming off a kind of a game, for him against Cleveland. But before that, he had some really good straight games in a row. I'm liking him against Brooklyn. I think he's going to be a great play. You can look at Bill. As long as John Wall's out, we're going to keep going back to the well. Going to 76ers, up-tempo game. Tonight, he still scored points. He just didn't do much else. I definitely going to kind of revert back to what he's been doing, and he's been playing very well. He's been contributing in a lot of other stats, and the price is up, but I definitely think it's up for a reason. He's a great play. So Booker's out. That's what we know about Booker already. Tariq is out. We got Middleton. Antetokounmpo's listed as he's on the injury list. If he's out, I would go Middleton. Otherwise, he's strictly a GPP play. He's just somebody I would look at if Antetokounmpo's out. We got to wait for that news. We got Clay. I'm really liking Clay going against the Thunder. It's going to be a competitive game. He's solid. He's got you at least 24 and 5 straight. 30 or more in 4 of the past 5. For him to hit value, we need about 33. He's averaging 31 on the season. Clay's a very fine play. Then we got Eric Gordon. He's supposed to be back. If he comes back and he's going to play his regular minutes, if we hear that, Ariza's out still, so he's going to play, close to 30 minutes a game. This guy's a shooter. The price is very fair. 5.4 for him. His price tag for him to hit value. We need about 27. He's averaging 27 on season. Fantasy-wise, very good matchup against the Nets. Last guy, Pope. Going against the Suns, he's trending back up in the right direction, starting to get back in the 30 minutes a game mark, what he's been at pretty much all season. For him to hit value, we need about 26. 27. He's averaging 26 on the season. So I really like Pope in this up-tempo matchup against the Suns. Antetokounmpo, game time decision. He's all right if if he plays against New York. He definitely can have a great game. LeBron going against Orlando, up tempo game. So it's crazy. He had one game where he busted against them. He only got 28 fantasy points, but another game against them, he got almost a triple-double, 77 fantasy points. So LeBron does have upside. He has to do a lot more now without Kevin Love out. He has to take on the scoring load. LeBron's a solid play. KD going against Thunder, going to be battling Paul George. I think this is going to be, every time he goes against his old team, I really like him. So I like him once again in this spot. For him to hit value, we need about 54. He's averaging 48 on the season. Kevin Durant, I really like him. Like I said, anytime he's going against OKC and Westbrook, it always gets a little chippy. You got George on the other side. He's going to have to go against KD. If they're going to have any chance in his game, he's going to have a great game along with Westbrook. 40 for him to hit value. He's averaging 38 on the season. Coming off a 40-point game against the Lakers. 2 games ago, he had 61 fantasy points. So he definitely has upside. I think he's a great play. I think he's somebody that you could even consider in cash games. Otto Porter. As long as John Wall's out, him and Bill are going to have to do some extra work. Tonight, he didn't have the best game. He only played 25 minutes, though, so I'm not really too worried on the back-to-back. For him to hit value, we need about 36. He's averaging 30 on the season. I'm liking Otto Porter before tonight. He had 3 straight very good games, so he's a fine play. Ingram. The price is starting to get back up a little bit, but his play's getting back up as well. He's got you at least 33 in 4 of the past 5 games. For him to hit value, you need 34. Ingram up tempo game against Phoenix. I like the matchup. So he's a great play. Another guy I'll look on the other side of the ball. Without Booker, he's going to have to score more. Yeah, we know that this guy could score. For him to hit value, we need 34. He's averaging 31 on the season. Very up-tempo game against the Lakers. He's a guy that definitely gets his minutes. He plays high 30 minutes for the most part, so something you really got to like. So TJ Warren, solid. Last guy I'm going to quickly mention is going to be if Gordon's out again and he starts going against Cleveland. We know Cleveland's defense is horrible. I played Mario tonight. He had a monster game for me. He got me 40 fantasy points, played 31 minutes. I know they're on a back-to-back, but, he's a young dude. I think he'll be all right. So just make sure that he's in that start lineup. If he is, he's a great play at 5,000. Next, we'll move on to power forward. Porzingis, he's had a very good game last game against Atlanta. 22-8, 5-4. You can't really depend on those, defensive stats, but he does play defense and he does get you, usually a block or two a game. If he gets the steals, that's a bonus. 57 fantasy points. The guy does have upside. 8.8 price tag. We need about 44. He's averaging 40 on the season. Bucks are not very good against big men, so I like, Porzingis, Draymond. I think he's a guy you can put in your cash game. He's going to get you close to 40. He's going to really, he's a guy that definitely rises up to big games. 40 for value. He's averaging 37 on the season. Draymond, he can get a triple-double any night. Saric, going against Washington, up-tempo game. He's a guy who plays 32 minutes a game. The minutes, for the most part, are locked in. He's averaging, 28 fantasy points on the season. 6.7 price tag. So we need about 32, 33 for him to hit value. I like the spot. I like the tempo. And Washington's going to be on a back-to-back. So it gives the 76ers a little bit of an advantage, especially at home. Saric, solid play. Then we got Carmelo. They're going to need his scoring. He's actually been playing pretty well. For him to hit value, you need 30. He's averaging 29 on the season. I like Carmelo in this spot. It's going to be an up-tempo game. Like I said, they're going to need him to score if they're going to have a chance in this game. They're going to need all three big guys to really step up and do some work. Coming off a couple solid games. Carmelo, great play. Another guy you can look at, he's back to starting since Kevin Love is out. Crowder, you need 20 for him to hit value. Up-tempo game going against Orlando. He's going to play 24 to 26 minutes for the most part. He doesn't do nothing special, but, he's on the cheaper end. He can get you, 6, 7 times upside. You need 20. Like I said, averaging 17. He's a guy I think you just look at if you're trying to fit some other pieces in. Embiid going against Washington. Embiid, for him to hit value, you need 50. He hasn't got 50 in a while. So for me, he's a straight GPP play. But, he does have upside. Going against Gortat, it's not really the best matchup. But, he's a solid play. You got Gasol. Gasol, I'm liking him. I like big men going against Atlanta all the time. He's their best player. For him to hit value, we need 45. He's averaging 38 on the season. This is a solid spot. He's coming off some rest. Gasol, I'm liking it. He's a fair. I would rather definitely go Gasol over Embiid. Go Capella against Brooklyn. Big men kill Brooklyn. We know that. The minutes, and for the most part, he's getting close to 30 minutes a game right now. He can do work. We know he's a fantasy point per minute monster. Capella solid play. You got Horford. I probably would prefer Horford a little bit more maybe in cash games. Just because he plays more minutes. He gets you 32 to 36 minutes. He does a little bit of everything. He can definitely fill up the stat sheet. And then with Kyrie Irving out, he has to score a little bit more. And he's actually he's been doing that. Last game, 22 points against Portland. 45 fantasy points. For him to hit value, we need about 38. He's averaging 34 on the season. Great play in Horford. Adams, I know I talk about him. You need 35 for value. Up-tempo game against the Warriors. This is a great spot. I think he can definitely mash in this spot. I like Adams. He's just always a fair price. You know what you're going to get. He's very consistent. 35 for value. Averaging 31 on the season. I'm really feeling Adams. And some guys I will just kind of really quickly mention. You can look at Alex Len and Tyson Chandler against the Lakers. You know, the Lakers struggle against big men. Kind of hear what kind of news you have coming out with that. If for some reason Chandler was to sit, Len would be a great play. But either way, I like both of them. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at for this video. You know, before we get to our picks at each position, you know, make sure to click that like button for me. And yeah, so let's just get it in real quick. I'm really liking Steph Curry. I think he's a really good play going against OKC. You know, I like Westbrook as well, but I'm going to take the discount. Then we're going to go. I'm liking, see, I'm not trying to go all Warriors, but I'm really feeling this game a lot. So, boom, boom, boom. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. I love that game. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna try to get as much exposure to that game as possible. Don't worry. I'm gonna switch this up, and I'm not gonna give you just all Warriors. I mean, that's too obvious of plays. So let me see. I'm gonna take. Let's see. I like Curry. I like Clay. Sorry, I'm gonna figure it out for you right now. It's just small forward. See, I'm liking. I think he's gonna start again. I like him. I mean, I like the Warriors. Obviously, you could tell. I mean, that's gonna be a really good game. I think Clay's price is down. I'm definitely liking Clay. Another way you can do it too, if you don't want to go Curry, I mean, he has the massive upside. If Schroeder's out, I mean, if Irving's out, I'm gonna go with Rozier. But I'm gonna go something. We're gonna go something like this. Boom. This is something I'm gonna kind of look at, right? So I like something like this. This is definitely something I kind of like. I feel all these guys are very fair priced. You know, I definitely think they could get you their 5 times value with 6, 7, 8 times value upside. So yeah, hey, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button, click that like button. Let's make some money, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.